A few days ago, the Federal Reserve of the United States said something about using XRP that made news. Chief Financial Officer David Ondelfato of the St. Louis office of the Federal Reserve has talked about how RippleNet could be used to handle payments. It has been made clear that RippleNet needs XRP to make these deals happen. David Ondelfato said that the Federal Reserve could let a third party, like Ripple, handle payments. The worth of XRP might go up a lot because of this event. If it happens, it might even reach $10,000. Also, keep in mind that the Federal Reserve's move is not a surprise. Not long ago, maybe a month ago, the Federal Reserve officially said that they thought XRP and XLM could help make the blockchain part of their FedNow payment tool better. Ripple is getting a lot of attention because of its open-source technology for transfers and its unique ways to send money between countries. People think that adding Ripple's technology to the FedNow payment service will be a big reason why XRP's value goes to unimaginable heights. Thanks for coming. The Family is a good place to learn about everything XRP. To join our group, please click like, subscribe, and notifications before we start. Also, we'll give away a lot of XRP when we hit 60,000 followers. To make a bid, you only need to do 3 simple things. Do all of those things. Make sure you get a spot by leaving a reply with the hashtag. Let's get to the subject of today. The Federal Reserve and Ripple have officially joined forces, as you can see on the federalreserve.gov website. The study was called the U.S. Path to Faster Payments. The first part is called the Faster Payment Task Force approach, and it talks about how Ripple is an important part of working with the Federal Reserve to find payment solutions. The study talks about how Ripple is the only way to make real-time payments to other countries possible. Most of the time, these moves take 2 to 4 days and have fees that are hard to track. When you use Ripple, you can see all of your payments and fees at once and settle them right away. Then we learned that Ripple and the Federal Reserve have added funds in the United States to their relationship. There is a lot of evidence to back this up that people can pause and read. Central banks, like the Bank of England, the Federal Reserve, and the Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority, work with Ripple to make the local payment system better. This is a very important part of the study. It also talks about Ripple Labs' innovations in the simplest level of payment handling with a focus on giving people all over the world a free, real-time settlement infrastructure. In other words, Ripple's decentralized peer-to-peer settlement framework will be used by the Federal Reserve instead of the usual ways of sending money. There were early signs of this change when we look back. About a year ago, the Federal Reserve talked about exploring a digital U.S. on Fox News, and the Ripple logo was shown a lot. These groups are also interested in Ripple's technology because they have added it to their lists of operating in the shadows partners, which includes the Federal Reserve Board, the Bank of International Settlements, BIS, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the Bank of International Settlements, BIS. A lot of the world's money is kept by the Bank of International Settlements. When you learn more about the interesting world of global banks, this becomes clear. Being a part of this field is a big deal for Ripple. And it quotes Jess Chan, who is a top council member at the Frederickshire Board of Governors. It comes from the Department of the Interior. It is said that Jess, who used to be a deputy general counsel at Ripple, is in charge of this. This has a lot to unpack for people who like to know the little things. It all fits together pretty well. Yes, but that's not all. A lot of you might be shocked by what I'm about to say. The Federal Reserve recently told banks that they might lose money because interest rates are going up and the real estate market is getting tough. This has been talked about with a number of companies since early March, which I find interesting. BRICS and the EU are also likely to use XRP. The European Union has even said that XRP will be the base for the new digital euro. To exchange wealth, the XRP ledger will be used. It seems like XRP's value is about to go through the roof, as shown by several stories. In the short run, it will go up to $500.50, and as it spreads around the world, it could reach $10,000. This idea is said to have come from Arthur Brito, who helped to create Ripple. It's clear that the story of XRP is changing quickly as we watch the movie. The BRICS countries have decided to work with Ripple to build their central bank digital currency on the XRP system now that the SEC case against Ripple is over. Recent news reports say that this central bank digital currency, which is backed by BRICS, will be a very important tool for global finance. We will look into Ripple's big network in more detail because there are signs of it in all 5 BRICS countries. We should start our trip in Brazil, where a very important event took place. With the help of Ripple, Brazil has started a first-of-its-kind crypto-on-demand funding service. For the country, this project is a big step forward in terms of banking technology. France is the next country we'll talk about. A lot of proof shows that President Putin has changed his plan to stay away from the USD and the petrodollar. There has been a clear move toward Ripple Labs since SWIFT said Russia could not use its payment system. The goal of the XRP system is to create a Russian CBDC, which stands for Central Bank Digital Currency. Not only does this break the SWIFT ban, but it also makes use of the fact that the XRP ledger is not controlled. In this way, Russia can continue working with global banks while the world's attention is turned to India. Ripple runs India's huge digital rupee initiative and is also in charge of another big project. The main idea behind this project is technology from Ripple Labs. This is a big step forward for India's plans to make a global CBDC. But that's not the end of the story. Now China is also in the fight. They are working with Ripple to get into the world of digital currencies that are released by government banks. Ripple is becoming more important in the financial world because of this link. In Africa, it's the same story. CBDCs are becoming more important on the XRP system all over Africa, as shown by the 2022 African blockchain study. It says that South Africa and more than a dozen other African countries use Ripple and XRP to send and receive money. Many banks in Africa are using ledgers, which shows how important they are becoming. Finally, a new study by the BRICS group named XRP as one of the best digital assets for payment services. XRP is becoming an even bigger name in the world of digital currencies now that BRICS is on board. Recently, there have been a lot of estimates about how